C'è spazio anche qua, eh?
Sabato e la domenica, svegliati con noi. Sabato italiano e domenica vestito.
Antologie epiche di storie raccontate in linguaggio Morse.
Analogie analitiche di digitazioni paleolitiche, digito e pensieri analoghi, apparsa dalle onde radio parallele ai quanti di luce e quanti di luce e quanti di luce.
The disadvantage of analog is that you really have to know what you're doing. You have to make decisions. You can't fix later. And it takes time for the machine to locate and track the tape before you can take another crack at the older time. Sono continuamente in movimento, antologie epiche di storie raccontate in linguaggio Morse, analogie analitiche di digitazioni paleolitiche, digito pensieri analoghi, apparsa dalle onde radio parallele ai quanti di luce e quanti di luce e quanti di luce
Okay, so what is existentialist psychotherapy if we put them two together? What would you say in answer to that, Jill?
Well, existential psychotherapy stemmed from the existentialism movement, and I believe it started really with three psychiatrists. I think it was Jaspers and Binswanger and Boss, I think I'm correct in saying, Brian.
Sounds like a firm of solicitors.
It's confirmed with the solicitor, yes.
In terms of that's a good analytical, philosophical approach, actually. I mean, is it generally the same? Would you tackle things in the same way, Jill?
Well, the thing is, it's different with each person.
Right.
So the thing about existentialism is that to me, I believe that you are different with each person. So it's a unique therapy.
Sure. What is your general philosophy that you take as you approach somebody to initially diagnose them?
Analog is a simple technology. Signals are continuous. But are prone to noise and interference. Exactly what is transmitted is received without being altered. Analog is a transmission standard that uses electrical impulses to emulate the audio signal into similar variations in an electrical signal and carried down the line to the exchange. Analog is a simple technology to emulate the audio waveform. Analog is a transmission. When you use a phone, the variations of your voice are transformed by a microphone into similar variations in an electrical signal carried down the line. Analog is a transmission standard that uses electrical impulses to emulate the audio waveform of sound. When you use a phone, the variations in your voice are transformed by a microphone in exchange into similar variations. Analog is a simple technology. disadvantage of analogue is that you really have to know what you're doing. You have to make a decision. You can't fix it later, and it takes time for the machine to locate and park the tape before you can take another crack at that fucking overdub. Analogue is a simpler technology. Signals are continuous, but they are prone to noise and interference. Exactly what is transmitted is received without being altered. Analogue is a simpler technology, but it's the decisions. The disadvantage of analogue is that you can't fix it later, and it takes time for the machine to locate and park the tape before you can take another crack at the analogue is a simpler technology. Signals are continuous, but are prone to noise and interference. Exactly is transmission standards that uses electrical impulses to emulate the audio waveform of sound. Analog. The variation is always transported by a microphone into similar variations in an electrical signal and carried down the line to the exchange without being altered. It is a big disadvantage of analog, actually, is that you really have to know what you're doing. You have to make a decision you can't fix later, and it takes time for the machine to locate and park the tape before you can take another crack at that fucking overdub. Analog analytics, paralytic digitation. Analog analytics, paralytic digitation. Digitation. Analog analytics, paralytic digitating to the heavy and hard button that separates themselves. The disadvantage of analogue is that you really have to know what you're doing. You have to make a decision you can't fix later. It's all down to the decision. Epic anthologies of already spoken stories in a Morse language. Analog analytics and paralytic digitation. Analog analytics and paralytic digitation. Analog analytics and paralytic digitation. Heavy hard buttons of the past. Heavy hard buttons of the past. Heavy hard. Analog is a simpler technology. Signals are continuous. Heavy hard buttons of the past.
Analog is a simpler technology. Signals are continuous, but are prone to noise and interference. Exactly what is transmitted is received without being
about the decisions.
Analog is a transmission standard that uses electrical impulses to emulate the audio waveform of sound. When you use a phone, the variation in your voice are transposed by microphone to similar variations in an electrical signal and carried down the line to the exchange.
Analog is hard.
Analogie analitiche di digitazioni paleolitiche, digitando analogie analoghe ai tasti pesanti e faticosi del passato. Digito i pensieri analoghi alle azioni sincopate di una dicotomia ologrammata. Appassa dalle onde radio parallele ai quanti di luce, e quanti di luce ci separano, ci esternizzano, e se lo fanno si paralizzano o sono continuamente in movimento. Antologie epiche di storie raccontate in linguaggio Morse.
nostro